here's the video we're gonna use. Make sure, so here's the long side. So make sure you have the long side. Usually if it's a bent wire, that usually means it's the longest wire. So I'm gonna put that in there. Doesn't matter where, to be honest, but I'm putting 10. Make sure it is touching the metal part. That is really important. Otherwise, it's not gonna light up. Same with anything you put in the breadboard. And then we're gonna get a resistor, 220. You can tell by the colors. You can see that. We're gonna put that in front of where that is, and then 3 over. And again, make sure it's.
How do you know it's touching?
You can feel it. You can feel it hit the ground.
Do you want to go all the way down to the ground?
Yes.
Okay, so you're pushing it all the way down to the ground.
You have to make sure it touches that metal part.
Okay.
Underneath.
Okay.
And then we're gonna get our wires. This is gonna be our ground wire. So let's look at where the wire is and go out here in negatives. Oh, I'm wrong. I'm gonna put an A. And we're gonna put that on the ground. Oops. And then here's the resistor, and then we're gonna put that, it doesn't matter as long as your code is the right, but we're gonna put 8. So first of all, we're gonna define what we put our wire in with the resistor. So we're gonna do hashtag define LED in, and we're gonna put 8 because that is where we put it, but again, doesn't matter as long as it's the right one. Set up that, and then we're getting the output. I don't know what. You might want to mute that. Because it kind of explains it, right? Just like,
yeah.
It's the output. It's the setup.
I can, output. Just explain as much as you can and I'll get that in.
So here is where we do the task, like what's it going to do. So digital, right, LED pin. So we're gonna have a delay. Let's put 1,000. So a thing to do in programming in general is do \\\. Make sure you do 2, and you can write any comment you want. It's not going to read it. This is just for you personally. It is not a requirement either, but it's good to make sure you're organized and know what is going on. LED and we have delay 1,000. Make sure at the end of, well, almost at the end, unless it's something like this, you have a, what's it called?
Semicolon?
Cool.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, so this is gonna turn it on, and this is gonna turn it off. So we could put that in our code. LED off. LED on. And just before we start, let's make sure our code is correct. There's no errors in the output, so we can upload that. Also make sure it's the right board. So make sure we're using a USB, so this is gonna probably what you're going to use, which is really important because it will not work otherwise. And then upload it, and that should work. And then upload it, and that should work. I'm gonna stop. So now let's try different delays, and we can see how that works. We don't have to verify every time. We can see how that works in our light. We can see how that works in our light. Which is going to take a while.
Is it looping?
Yes, because void loop. Let's try 10.
This is going so fast.
Yeah, it's going so fast, you can tell. Alright, so now we're going to do a motor. So Arduino has a great example. So we're going to first align our wires into this. I just like to do it by color so I don't get confused. Again, doesn't matter, but it does help. And make sure they're all the way in. Alright, next, so this yellow wire is going to go into 9. This is just where we're putting our output. This black one, we're gonna put 1, 2, 3, cut that part out here. And we're gonna put the red one right next to it. Or actually no, I'm gonna put it back one. And then we're going to take the red wire. We're gonna go to the negative up front. We're gonna plug that into 5 volt. And with motors, you usually use 5 volts, so yeah. And then with this black wire, we're gonna put in front also, or positive. We're gonna put it into ground. So this one's broken, or the wire thing is gone, but alright, so now I can program it. Okay, so now we have everything set up. We're gonna put include servo H. Alright, servo. Alright, hold on. Create servo objects to control. Verify. Oh, we messed up. What did we mess up? Okay, so this is capital. Good. Alright, here we go. It highlights it for you.
What's wrong?
Well, hold on. Oh, well, there needs to be a 1. 0, 180. Okay, my servo. Oh, this is one word. My servo dot right. It's always going to highlight, not always, but in the output, it's going to say your error, and when you click on it or you go, or
So when you click on that gray, it was showing what that
the
was.
gray is highlighting what you're writing right now,
Okay.
but if it's going to be kind of reddish. All right, upload.
Tutorial. I'm just going to kind of go over kind of a pipeline on how to get all these parts to work with animation, and that animation to go to virtual servo, and that virtual servo to our motors, so we can get them to animate as part of this finger. This is a really good exercise to kind of see how to bring things, and we're going to do an IK rig system on this and teach you a couple processes along the way. So one of the first things to do is just kind of organize some of this stuff. So some of these are the parts that we downloaded and we ended up printing. So some of the stuff is we did not use. I think this one we did not use. I think we just used this guy. It had the gear on it for our motor, and we do have a motor. This is our servo motor, and you can go ahead and get this into position. All right, don't have to listen to this. This is just if you want to do this down the road for your own project. This is just kind of helpful information that I have learned along the way, and also good for me just practice to understand how this stuff works for my own research and also for the class. All right, so basically I'm just lining this up, and we know everything is sized correctly, believe it or not, because these are STL files. They printed out correctly to the right size, and basically all I did was get everything modified and make sure everything is center pivot. And I'm just kind of loosely doing this, but type in negative 90 to make sure this is sitting in there correctly. All right, let's go maybe 90, positive 90 instead of negative 90. All right, so let's look at it into position. You can eyeball it. You could also go to the side view and make sure that's dead on. Doesn't really matter. We're just kind of loosely using the animation from this, but it's nice to kind of have if you do go on, you can do some better constraints and make this work a little bit better. So anyways, you can see the grid right here. We have this in a vertical, so hopefully I'll show you how to get that here in a second. So one of the things is, as part of this STL, these are all grouped together, so we want to separate that. So you just go to Modify, or actually get out of Rigging, and we want to go to Mesh and Separate. All right, so give it a second. These are STL files, so they behave a little bit differently. You can see all this data is triangulated. It's ready for printing. When you print, you want everything not to be quad, but triangulated. So if you look, this is a big mess too, because it's under this header, and then you have all these parts and pieces that are kind of shattered. So that's kind of working to our disadvantage. So I'm going to go ahead and get to a better view here. And what I'm going to do here is just go in here and select that and start building these back to do a combine. So we're just grabbing all these fractured pieces and doing a combine. So we're not going to reprint this, so we're just going to hit G, combine this. So it's taking all these and combining all these fracture pieces. Alright, so we're really not going to render or do anything special with it. We're just basically having it as a silhouette as we animate. So it looks similar to what we're doing with the animatronic. Alright, so anyways, you could probably move these out of the way after you combine them. Alright. I'm just hitting G, which is the last thing. You may want to do some iterative saves. It's having a hard time calculating this. I don't know why. It should be quite light. Alright, this is the last one. So you can see all those different faces all just kind of combining together. Alright, looks pretty good. So what we want to do is basically get rid of all these. These are just really garbage. So I think what I did was select these and then hit edit unparent to get them away from all this garbage here. So you really want your scene to be clean. So I'm just going to go here and delete. And you see it's starting to fracture this. So let's undo that. Let's see if we can just go to the very top and unparent the top. Let's see if we can go here. Unparent. Let's see. Delete it from the very top. Alright, so that looks like that works. So what happened here is it doesn't have a material to it. So I'm just going to go here. You can see they're all separate, which is great. And we'll just add a material. Go to rendering. Assign a material. Let's go to a Lambert. Alright, so that's really good. So all I did was basically rotate these all and get them to position. So as you guys know, we put these together physically. So now you're just doing it virtually, right? So this is the fingertip, you know, that goes to the top, and you know all these are labeled too, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -90. Not going to have you do this, but maybe next year for the class I may have them do this whole process, because this is really important to learn. We are more into the physical making of this, but I think for next year I think it's good that they learn the different processes. Alright, so this is 2, type of 90. Alright, you can see the numbers. You want to make sure the numbers are all facing the correct way. So I hit E, rotate that around to 180. Alright, so you kind of you understand what's going on here. You'll want to stack them 1, 2, 3, 4. I think number 1 is the base. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to go on to the next video. You kind of know what to do here. You'll start plugging these together and starting to combine them in different configurations. Have several of these saved, so I'm just going to keep opening them up and then walking through the process. So what this is actually quite ideal that it has the numbering convention on here. So actually I may have this one backwards, but yeah, I think number 2 should be actually facing this way. So definitely maybe not follow what I did here. So you can see the bend is supposed to be on this side. So anyways, you see that I combined the top and the bottom and these two, so you just select them with shift and then hit modeling mesh and combine, so that these joints are together. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 should be here, and you can see 2 is actually facing the wrong way. Anyways, it's not going to hurt anything. This is, again, just to animate so we can see it moving. So please, on yours, make sure you have it flipped around. So another thing I did is I put a locator in there, right in the center here, just so I can grab it and then put it into correct position. So to create a locator, you just hit locator right here, and then you make it a little bit larger, then you put it in place, and then you can grab all the finger parts, select the locator last, and hit P for parent. All right, and then we just go ahead, grab this, and put this into place. All right, so you guys have physically already made this, so you know that it these curved forms, and it's supposed to bend this way. So what you're trying to do is just kind of line this up. Again, this is just kind of a virtual prop and a virtual animation, but we do want to try to get it correct. Again, you want to flip that around so that this curve is correct. I'm just going to keep moving along. All right, so we have everything in place, and now we want to make sure that we have it placed correctly over here. Just because it's on a vertical axis, it's just better to kind of place it where it belongs. So I am going to create locator right there, and we hit R. I'm just going to make it kind of big so we can see it, and then pull it over here. All right, so now we just select my finger, my pulley, servo, and that. Select that, hit P. All right, and we're just going to go ahead and rotate it into position. All right, type in 90. Okay, and we're just going to try to get it to the center of this axis here. All right, so one of the things you want to do is just make sure it's in the correct position here. We'll hit A. And so if this is upside down, so you want the finger where it's going to be bending in upward position. So I'm just going to select everything, hit rotate, just rotate this around, and make sure it's correct axis, -180, enter. All right, so it looks like it's in a good position. Spacebar. All right, so it looks like it's upside down, but it's actually correct. And the way you can tell, it says right here, it says top. This is the bottom. That's correct. So before we had it flipped upside down, so this is good. All right, this is really making me upset that this is upside down. But anyways, this is actually ready to go. So on the next video, I'm just kind of splicing them together. I'm going to show you how we can make an IK chain. Or first, we're going to rig it and then make an IK chain. Video, and I'm just going to show you probably a couple things that we could do. I have the locators all parented. You could probably get rid of these. I'm going to go ahead and do that for here. So we have a locator, and I've selected the finger. I'll go ahead and hit unparent, and hit G and G. So now when I select this locator, it's not going. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Go ahead and delete this guy too. Select all these and unparent, edit, unparent. Probably just don't need it. You'll probably see other videos that will probably be in there. I just didn't think about undoing that. All right, so what we're going to do is start rigging this so we can animate it. And we're going to make a rig first, and then later do a inverse schematic. So I am talking quietly. I'm in a library, so that you guys can turn up my voice if needed. All right, so we know this is the servo, and now we know this is a 1, 2, 3 axis point. So here we're going to go into rigging. Now I know we haven't taught that much rigging at our school, but it's a good thing to know. And so we're going to go ahead and create. So I go dead center where these axes are. This is where your wire is. And we're going to go all the way up to the tip and hit enter. All right, so if we hit space bar and go over here, you'll see it's way over here. And this is on the XY axis. It just basically puts it in that axis till we tell it what to do. So I grab the base, hit W, and pull that out. Now what I did is I put it out so I could visually see it. Typically, when you animate, you have it in the center because you want the rotational, but we know this is going to be a fixed axis. It's not going to be going sideways, so it's probably better so we can see it just for this one example. All right, so what we're going to do now is create an IK for this. We're going to go to skeletal and create IK handle, and you should be able to have different types of handles: single, chain, solver, and rotate. And I'm going to hit the rotate one. Hit, let's see, let's close that. And then we'll just go ahead and it's ready to go. So you can see it's got like a little plus sign here. So we're going to grab here, all the way to the tip, and hit enter. All right, so doesn't look much different. You can see that the IK chain is right there below it. And we're going to bend it. You can see it's kind of solving. All right, and see it maybe upside down. And so we may want to flip our whole unit around now. I think that's why I had the locator and all that stuff on there. So hit Apple Z. Let's get to where it's flat. And basically you would flip this around so it's resolving correctly. All right, so I'm just going to basically show you one other thing. So you notice when we bent it, that it will go sideways. We don't want to do that, so we want to resolve that. So we're going to put a circle in here. We're going to create a NURBS circle. And you see it's way over here, so we're going to go ahead and hit R, enlarge this, and we're going to use this to kind of constrain the movements for this finger. All right, and we know it's upside down. So before we attach it to everything, we'll have it working properly. All right, so we're going to grab this, the handle here, and I think shift select the NURBS, and what we're going to do is create a constraint, and we're going to do, go down here, do a pole vector, I think. Let's hope. Let's see what happens. So it gave me an correct error, so we're going to do it reverse. So I grab that and hit that, and we'll rinse and repeat. Let's see if this works. Constraint, and then let's do a pull vector again. All right, so you can see this tie-in here. All right, so if we go to bend this, again, we have it upside down. So you can see if we go to the side here, we can grab this and straighten it up. All right, so it's just basically, we're going to be animating this, but we're going to basically just keep it just using these axes and rotating it around. All right, so we're going to stop there. Just wanted to show you how to make a rig, also how to put it in there properly. Apple Z this so we get it flat again. Before you go too far, you'll want to flip this around so that it's bending in the right axis. So right now it's bending and it's going opposite of what we want our finger to do. So I'll stop here and I'll open up another Maya file save, and you'll get to see how to basically parent everything together so that we can start to animate it. I think I have flipped this now correctly, and if we go over into our outliner here, you can see basically it's oops, let's Apple Z that. Let's go right to the handle here and go up and pull back, and you'll start to see how we're going to animate it. So basically it's based all on the rotation of this axis. So as we move on, we're going to put a virtual servo right here, and it's going to be based on this rotational value, which will give us what we need here, hopefully. So we know that the finger kind of goes all the way back here, and then it folds back all the way back to that position. And if we ever get it wacky, we can always straighten that up. But so far, it's done a pretty clean job. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this flat. Apple Z one more time. And I did put the finger and everything on a layer so we can turn it on and off. We have an extra part here, which is our wheel that we're not using. So I'm just grabbing all my parts and pieces here, and I'm just going to shove them over to here. All right, so put it here. This should be flat, so I may hit Apple Z a couple more times. I think I didn't open it correctly. Let's go. Let's play it around with that. IK solver, let's go back. Let's see. All right, let's turn that back on. And also what I did, I turned off my rig here too, so it was a little bit more flat. All right, so let's grab that. I'm gonna go up straight here. Solver is acting a little crazy. All right, so what we're gonna do, again, we're gonna grab all this. It's good that you're seeing me struggle here. So we're gonna put that over here. Again, previous video or previous, as I was working through, I put this on a layer, this IK chain. So we're gonna basically rotate here. So we're gonna hit Shift and I'll hit P. So let's reverse that. So grab this and hit this arm, hit P. So what we're doing is parenting this rig to this. All right, hit P. All right, so when we go to grab this and move it, everything should work with it. Totally not. This is awesome. All right, let's see. Let's try it again. Let's go to here, P, P, so we have that. All right, so now it's working. All right. Now, ideally, you want that inverse IK chain flat. You saw that it was bent right from the get-go, but you can see it's behaving somewhat like what our string is doing. There's really no way to mimic that to get it to work correctly. All right, so I'm having to grab from here. Okay, so again, we're going to make a virtual servo based on this rotational value, and that will hopefully give us what we want. All right, so pretty cool. We have two things going on. IK, we also have this if we need, if it starts to getting sideways and so forth. So we're just trying to animate this. We're going to animate it in just a second. But right now, this is pretty good. So the one last thing that we want to do, hit Apple Z. All right, one other thing we want to do is create a locator. Locator, I probably will give you this files, but anyways, this is for kind of me, but also for you guys. If you do want to explore this on your own, you can kind of look at how I did this. So what I'm doing is put a locator on the tip, and I'm going to select or command, select the tip here and hit P. That way when I grab that W, let's undo that. I did that in reverse. Okay, so I'm going to grab the IK, hit command, the locator, and hit P. All right. And what that should do is when I grab that, it's just easier to grab. All right, so I don't have to always go back to, you could make that into a NURB square, however you want to do it. You probably have seen the rigging for a NURB square for the grab things. All right, so to make this easier, so you're not grabbing the finger, you want to go ahead, put that in a layer, which is already was, but hit R, so you're not grabbing that. And then all this stuff, you'll want to put on a layer too. Let's see. So I turn that off. I'm going to go ahead and select this. That's selected. Now you can have it on, hit R, so there's just no way we can grab it. Now you do want to be able to grab that. Okay, so it's very easy to animate. Alright, so we go like that and start to animate. Alright, so we're going to go ahead, Command Z, and really quickly, we'll definitely have more of the main video, how to create the virtual servo, but with this one I do want to show you how to animate. So we have about 120 frames. You're going to drag in your sound clip here. That'll be on the next video. But one of the big things is for this Pololu card is you want to make sure your frame rate is at 24. If it's not, it could be at 60, but we may make sure it's 24 so it actually has a nice frame rate. All right. So with any animation, you'll grab that, hit S. That's your first keyframe. Always do endpoints here, so it kind of starts and it finishes at the same place. And depending on your music, you can go ahead and start animating it. All right, so if it's like da 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 dum, so we hit S, and I'm gonna move it back. All right, again, it's all about a rotational value here. I will go ahead. Now you won't be able to do anything special with the finger, like curve it around. You're just doing this kind of gross movements with this. All right. And you can see not all these are saving. Keyframe, let's see, let's make sure it's working. All right, for some reason, my first and second keyframes did not, or first and last keyframes did not work. All right, let's go all the way back here. That's really weird. Hit S. All right, so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. All right, we'll definitely go through this a little bit more thoroughly on the next one. So I'm gonna go ahead and rewind, hit play. All right, so you can see it's going super fast. So we'll go back into here and make sure it's at 24 frames. It is playing wicked fast, so let's hit play again. Let's see if that's really 1, 2, I guess that's correct. All right, so obviously we want to do a little bit better job with our animation cycles here. So you can see it's protruding through here. That's not part of what we do with our animatronic. It's always off the ground. So we hit S. So just double check to make sure it's doing what it needs to do. So this needs to be flattened out. S. All right. So just animate it again. What we really want to do is animate our virtual servo here, and this will be tied or parented shortly. All right. Anyways, just wanted you guys to see how to basically set it up. All the trouble that went to get to your final rig. All right. All right, so it's pretty dang close. It's a little bit off because I may have not hit that script at the same time. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So this time you have probably seen the bird animated right before here. So now we're working with 4 servos. Ultimately, there'll be 5 servos working with the wings. This is a project I kind of saw online, but retrofitted it with a different head and basically learned everything from scratch. So this is pretty exciting to actually get it working. So we're going to go ahead and get the Maya servo running. So this is the Maya with the Python 2 script opening it up. So give it a second. You definitely have to open this before you open up anything else. If you just open up the file that I've sent you, which is a Maya file, it won't work. So we're going to go ahead and hit open scene, and it's opening it on a desktop, and I have several ones, and I think we're just going to grab, let's see if we can stretch this out. So Thomas Animated. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hit open. All right, so you can see the full bird here now. It has servos all over it. Now they're a little tricky to grab. You can see some of the stuff I have locked, so you can't grab the head. Can't grab the blocks and stuff that's sitting on. I didn't lock that up, but these servos you can kind of grab, and you kind of have to go underneath to grab the jaw. And you'll see there's already keyframes on here just to get started. So we're today just going to play around with 100 frames, not much. You can go ahead and see this will grab everything. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to lock it, everything. So you're going to have to deal with the parameters of this, but you can see the keyframes here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and let's see what happens, because we do need it to make the recording. All right, so some of the things that I haven't quite figured out is the servo. So let me just try something real quick. Create virtual servo connector. All right, so this is pretty good. So definitely do that, because you'll want to play around with this, and when I hit E, I'll type up a sheet tomorrow. We actually can see the full range is 4,000 and down here. So this is good to have. So you can see the cap out, cap in for these. Okay, so these are really good. All right. So here you can see the rotation. So once you rotate it to a certain degree, it's not going to go any further because it caps out. All right, and I think I have the head rotationals backwards. Anyways, it's just to get us started. That way next week you guys have something to start animating to. So you have up and down. So this goes really high and low, so we'll have to experiment with that. I've actually got some wire ties holding it together, so we're going to have to kind of experiment, see really how far this can go up and down. All right. Hopefully you're able to hear me. So I kind of left all the keyframes on here just so you guys can go through and learn how to clean this up. So you'll go to the very end, hit Shift, it'll turn red, and right-click Delete. All right, these will delete all those keyframes. So you'll just do this for all these, and just delete, and delete. So I'm just going to do it for all of them real quick. Again, Shift and right-click and delete. All right, so I think almost everything has been deleted. Let's just double check here. All right. And I don't know why this thing is so big. There is a way to go to Windows and make this rotational value smaller. So hopefully yours will not be doing that. I went through the whole process of animating this and realized it wasn't recording. So it stops at 5 minutes with this free recorder. So anyways, what I did was just quickly recorded all these different types of animations. So really quickly, as you're going up and down, you can see the value here going up, and you'll see it will cap out. So don't animate it any further, like going through the floor. You'll see it cap in and cap out. All right, and you'll put your keyframes in there. And then I just went to each of these points here and animated. Now the back and forth is probably opposite. I think it's going left instead of right, and then this guy actually goes down pretty far. So you'll see the numeric go down to 5,000 and go up. So it goes more down than up. I think up it just kind of stops right here. It doesn't have that much rotational value on the servo. All right, and then just did a really quick thing on the mouth here. You can see it close. So anyways, I was just trying to keep it very simple. And again, I try to keyframe it back and forth here as best as possible. All right, so one of the things that we have done is we've done one servo with the Raven and also with the finger. So it's a little bit different. We are going to go up to 5 when I come back next week or the following week, but we're going to do 4 servo. That's all there is on here. So we're going to hit record servo and hit record animation. I'm going to do this all again. So you see it flop. That's a good sign. And I just went through this. So we're going to go ahead and hit 4 and hit TT. All right. Save. And then you guys know what to do here. So I have about 2 more minutes here, and we're going to go here and do the print. It's going to bring up our dialogue, and I think I typed in good underscore TT. Let's see if that's correct. And we're going to go good underscore TTT. All right. Should have better naming convention. That's all right for now. Hit 2. All right. And now we're going to open up good TT. See, I have tons of stuff on my desktop. Need to clean it up one day. And good TT. Let's see. It was 4 TT. All right, so 4 TT, not good TT. All right. All right, so that's why it was empty. TT. All right, and let's go ahead and call it 4 underscore TTT. All right, let's see, and we hit 2. All right, excellent. So let's open it up, make sure we have some data here. And we're going to open with Notepad. All right, that looks good. Select all. Copy. All right, and then we're going to go to our Pololu. And we'll go ahead. Wish there was a delete all for this. Scroll down. Trim. All right, so I'm gonna right click and I probably know how to paste this better than I do. All right, just make sure everything's in there. Make sure you have the beginning word, and I'm gonna hit apply. All right, and I'm gonna run the script, see what happens. looks pretty good. So I'm going to let it run here, and I'm going to take a recording of it so you can see what the actual
It's secure, middle-aged thing. I was adorable. I was adorable once. No, look at me. I'm this short, insecure, middle-aged thing. I was adorable.
So start.
Splash Mountain で何をしておいでだね。それじゃあスプラッシュマウンテンとウサギ丼の話でもしようか。スプラッシュマウンテン